Now, protests have erupted in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Demonstrators back on the streets as the government resumes airstrikes in Gaza. Israel's finance minister said the country had no alternative but to resume its operation in the enclave. For more, we can go across to correspondent Noga Tarnopolsy standing by in Jerusalem. Noga, you're at a demonstration in Jerusalem. What are people there telling you?
Well, we're going to hear it immediately now from Carmit Palty Katriz. She belongs to one of the families from the community of Nir Oz that have become very well known in the Israeli public space. Her father was murdered on October 7th by Hamas. Her brother was taken captive, as was her mother. Her mother was released but never really recovered and eventually died, and her brother was murdered in captivity. So she's become a very public person here, and I will ask her, now that the government has relaunched war in Gaza, what do you think you can achieve through the sort of protest that is being planned for here?
The reason I'm here, that we're having this protest, is to raise a flag, to say to the community in Israel and in all over the world that we are extremely frightened of the consequences of the war, about the hostages and about the soldiers. We're very afraid that what happened to my brother, who was murdered in captivity, will happen to other hostages that are alive, and we should and must bring them back alive now.
Do you think that there's any possibility, do you see any avenue right now for the hostages to come back, those who are alive, even those who are no longer alive?
First of all, Israel has signed a deal, and we must fulfill this agreement, this hostage deal, in order to bring them all back to Israel. And we need to end the war to do it. And that's the reason we are here. We're here to cry out for our government that this agreement, this hostage deal agreement, must be fulfilled through all phases, and this war must come to an end so we can get all our hostages back.
Do you feel that you have the support of the Israeli people in these claims, in these demands?
Actually, we know we have this support because we are testing it in polls all the time, and I just got the latest poll saying 70% of the people in Israel is supporting ending the war and bring all the hostages back home. We, the Israeli community, care a lot about the value of life and the value of the hostages, and we will not let anyone sacrifice their lives, and we must bring them back home alive and to bury properly the one who are no longer alive.
Thank you very much for speaking with us
You're
today.
welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Noga, it's
Delano, I'm back with you.
It's very interesting to hear the faith that's still in Carmit's voice, because I wanted to ask you, is there a real effort on the part of the government to negotiate a ceasefire? Because we have news today that the far-right former minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, his party is back in Netanyahu's coalition. Ben-Gvir was not in favor of phase one of the ceasefire agreement, which is why he walked out. Now that he's back, what does this mean to you?
Right. Well, actually, the issue of Ben-Gvir that you brought up touches on a kind of array of matters that are right now grappling all of Israel. Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir announced that now that war is back, he would return to government. But it took just a few minutes for the Office of the Attorney General of Israel to remind the Prime Minister that Ben-Gvir is under criminal investigation for having abused his power when he was minister before he quit. And so he cannot legally be reappointed. And so the return of this extremist, hard-right national security minister to the government is now kind of churning through the Israeli public space with so many other semi-legal or illegal or just desperate moves. We see that the Prime Minister is undertaking so as to shore up his political support within his cabinet and within the legislature. This is not only to be able to pursue the war, but also he has to pass a budget by the end of the month, and if he doesn't, he could lose power. Regarding Carmit's faith, I think that the many family members who I saw here today feel that they have no choice but to stand up for what's up. They feel that they've lost so much. They have nothing left to lose. And so they're here, and they were in the Knesset earlier today demanding what they feel belongs to them as citizens. But the government really isn't listening, and I don't think there are a lot of illusions about that.